Okay, hello everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thanks for coming to iSpring webinar because we are going to talk about how easy and powerful it is to integrate iSpring and Moodle. My name is Paulina. I am a community manager and I will be the moderator for today's webinar. And as a speaker, I have invited founder and CEO of LearnLink, Guido Hornig from Germany. Hi Guido, how are you doing today?
Hello Paulina, and hello everybody. I'm really overwhelmed how many people joined this webinar today. And yeah, I'm very happy to introduce my favorite topics, Moodle and iSpring.
Great. And I see a question in chat from Priscilla. She says, if I use a different LMS, will this meeting also apply to our situation? What do you think, Guido? Should we
Yeah, I
keep
think
Priscilla?
many things apply also to other LMS, and I think it's not the best introduction for getting news about iSpring, but I think yes, you should join us. And maybe you want Moodle after this.
Right. And I would like to also remind you guys that at the end of the webinar, we're going to have a Q&A session as always. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please send them in the question box and you may find it on the right side of the GoToWebinar panel. And I think at this point we are ready to begin. So Guido, let me please pass the presenter rights over to you.
Yes, thank you. Um, yeah, oh, wow. Now we have a bigger screen here, and I need to share my screen number 1 here. So, yes, this looks good. And we start with PowerPoint. And yeah, this is where you have iSpring. iSpring is just a plugin in PowerPoint. Don't worry, here it says iSpring DX. It doesn't matter if you use iSpring Suite or iSpring DX. Everything I show today will work with which version you use, doesn't matter. And we will also use Moodle site. And it's this site. Here's something in German, but we will also have an English version. And let me log in into the, okay, I can have a bigger screen here. So I will log in here, and so there are a lot of things for me, but this is the course I prepared for today. So we will have inside of Moodle, we will have some iSpring adventure modules here and some settings I will show you can use, and we can also use iSpring as a web module. We can introduce Moodle feedback and put this into a iSpring model. Then there are some files you can also download if you like. Just register into this Moodle site. You can do it after the webinar, and you will find all the files I presented here. So here's the English version of this site, but it's not everything English, I'm sorry, but there's a button, create new account, and just type in here this, it's simple LearnLink. That's what you need to register. And then you can create a new account, and wait a moment, this looks a little bit short here. You can choose your username and log in, register like in other Moodle sites as well. It's free, and you will get some more content which will help you to do things we learn here in this webinar. Now let me go back to PowerPoint. iSpring comes with a number of functionality. Today we only use Publish and a little bit of QuizMaker, because there's also QuizMaker included in iSpring, and also other features. We will also use the web object today. Let me show you my presentation here. It's just a few slides. Then there is a quiz. Oops, sorry. there's a quiz and another PowerPoint slide. Then here is something with web content. And yeah, but first look at this. This is just a slide, and this is a quiz about using iSpring for the publishing function. And then there is a final slide, and the first thing we need to do is we select the slides we want to have in the learning module. And I have selected the slides, including my quiz, and I can publish it now. So now I have to choose LMS to create a Scorm module for Moodle. And it's you don't need to know much, just select mobile HTML. And yeah, you need to select mobile even if you produce for a desktop, because here you get the HTML5 and every browser can process HTML5. So that's a good choice to use mobile. There's no need to produce any flash data anymore. You get nearly the same quality in HTML5. And it's difficult to maintain the Flash plugin everywhere, so it's not necessary anymore with iSpring if you create HTML5 modules. The other thing you need to select is the zip output. And also one more thing, when you select LMS for the production, then the learning course can choose, there you can choose from a variety of Scorm dialects or output dialects. Experience API, very popular, but not really used. I think most people use Scorm 1.2 or Scorm 2004 version 2, 3, or 4. Yes, and we use Scorm 1.2 for Moodle. It fits very well with iSpring. And it's a standard setting, so you don't need to check here if you have never changed it. But you need to select mobile and zip output, and then you say publish, and it belongs a little bit to the CPU of your computer how much time this will use. Sorry, I forgot something. I selected 4 slides, so I need to say produce only the selected slides. And yeah, we do this again. Okay. So this will produce now the 4 slides. And okay, that's already finished. And this is a test browser where you can check your module. And you can also check in other browsers. Maybe it's necessary for your company to be sure that Internet Explorer works well. But also Internet Explorer is already exchanged by Edge, and this will really work very well together with iSpring modules. You can also use Open Folder, and this is a folder, and this is a zip file which is produced. And it's very easy to put this on your Moodle site, because, so here comes the browser from with my Moodle page, and let me change to the English user interface so it's easier to follow for you, I think. Okay, so this is the Moodle site, and I switch on editing, turn editing on, and if I want to have this, that's the module I created. So let me put these pages side by side, so it's easier to see. If I want to have this as a module in Moodle, I just drag it, drop it here, and I can add files here. That's all. And now Moodle asks me, is this a zip file? And should I unzip it? Is it a file resource for download, or it's a zip file, so it could be a Scorm module? And yes, it's a Scorm module. So now I say upload, and yeah, it takes a while, but okay. So now it's uploaded. But I have already uploaded one I want to show you to get rid of surprises here. And because I was a little bit nervous before the webinar, but I think we can use this one we uploaded also. But first I want to show you the other one that I prepared. Okay, and I switch off the editing, or better, I use a different browser and log in with a demo user. This is my trick to really get what I want in Moodle, to have a real test user which has no administration rights. And I recommend this every course creator in Moodle use a real demo test user. So this is a test user. It's also me with better dressed than today. Okay, so this test user has no right to see the navigation panel and has no right to see all the admin parts. So it's a much cleaner user interface. And here's the iSpring module. And it asks, where do you want to start? Do you want to resume to where you have left the module, or start from the beginning? And I start over, and here's my module. So it's now the module with some navigation here, and it's a little bit responsive. So if I change the window size, the iSpring module will also change the size. I like this very much, that I don't need to care for the size here. And iSpring also can use the full screen mode. And if I press full screen, there is nothing left over from the browser. This is also very helpful. So I recommend to leave the module embedded in Moodle. You can choose how to display such a module, and embedding it is, from my point of view, the more safe version, because all windows that you open will create more hassle for the user and make it more difficult to navigate. Okay, now we can go to the next slide. Okay, another slide. Here's a quiz. And what do you think? Which is the best to select from? And I think it's mobile HTML5. So you can submit this, get a feedback, and it also tells you some consequences. Yeah, please always add the consequences of decisions, not only yes, right or wrong. And there's a next. And yes, we zip output and using iSpring Play. And it says you shouldn't use iSpring Play in connection with Moodle, because iSpring Play would not log in to your Moodle site. You have a Moodle app which can serve you very well, and download for offline use also the Scorm packages created with iSpring. Okay, and then
Guido?
yeah,
I'm
just
sorry
a moment.
for.
I just want to finish for it, and we can then do some questions to the
Yeah, but there is a
customer.
quick question. What do you mean by
Okay, yeah.
embedded from Randy?
Yeah, I will show the different versions of embedding the SCORM modules to Moodle. Good
Okay,
question.
thank you.
Okay, and now then it's always a little bit tricky to leave the browser, to leave the SCORM module in the end, because depending on the theme, it needs the exit activity button, but I use mostly something like a last slide where I explain how to return, and sometimes some hints that will help to exit the activity. And then you come back to the room. Okay, this is what we will work on now, but I have a few questions to you, and Paulina, please help me. I want to find out how many people of you are already using iSpring and Moodle, and we have prepared some questions.
Yeah, sure. So let's ask where you're using Moodle right now, okay?
Yes.
So if you guys please quickly take a moment to vote and let us know if you're using Moodle. Maybe this is not your LMS like Priscilla told us at the beginning of the webinar. So far, over half of the attendees has voted. So we will allow about 5 more seconds for you guys to take a vote and let us know where you're using Moodle LMS. Alright, so at this time I will close the poll and share the results with you. Can you see them, Guido?
I think I can't see them on because I'm still sharing my screen, but I can see it in the special display for moderators. I can, and I'm a little bit surprised that so many people are using Moodle in companies because it's a typical academic platform, but I also help my company clients to use Moodle, and I have no clients in universities or schools. So it's it's the same here. And if you count it's together, it's half companies and half in the educational sector. I think this is typical Moodle. It can be used everywhere.
All right. So
okay, thank you very much. And yeah, iSpring is, I think, also more popular in companies because it costs some money, but it's still one of the cheapest authoring tools I know. Okay, so let's ask the other question. Who's using iSpring?
just one moment. So yeah, here you can let us know for how long you've been using iSpring, and maybe you guys are not using it right now. Maybe you just have a trial for it. So far, 0% use it for 10 years. Okay, because I think we've been existing for 10 years only. All right, so let me close the poll right now because looks like almost everyone has taken the vote and share the results with you. And it looks like 30% of our attendees have been using iSpring for 1 year and 17% still have not used it yet. So this is something to think about, guys, or consider it as an authoring tool.
Yeah, and we are about 80 people watching this here, so it's real numbers. Thank you very much. And we have lots of people who are used to iSpring, who have produced numbers of modules, and I think you only stick with it if you like it. Okay, so now I want to go in more details. We have already done creation of a module with PowerPoint and then put it up to Moodle, but it's not that easy because you need to care for some of the parameters sometimes. And let me go back to the creation of PowerPoint. You can do all the animation and stuff. This is not really an issue with Moodle. One thing you need to care for is when you publish that you select the right version of Scorm. And there's also something in the customization area. And here iSpring gets more complex because we have already level 1. We click here, have the next level of user interface, and now we press another button and it goes to the next universe, but it's a small one. And here you can check for the report status to the LMS. And depending on which combination you select here, you can ask questions to the Scorm module from the Moodle side. So when you select past failed, you can ask for past failed in Moodle. when you select complete, incomplete, you can ask for complete, incomplete, and we will look where in the module in Moodle we check for it. So now we have complete, incomplete. We can also use past, fail, but I think complete, incomplete is now in our on the site, and I don't change it. Then here is also a function that can count the number of slides your learners have watched and have viewed on. You can select from the number of selected slides. And then you can add a weight here compared to the quiz question. So you can say this is only half of it. You could say 0.5. So that number decides how important the influence of this parameter is into your result. And then you also have the weight for the questions, and it's already 1. If there are more quizzes inside, you get you have the chance to change the weight in relation to other quizzes. And then here is a maximum score. But even if you, I set it just for demonstration to 6,000, it has no meaning in the end because you get the passing score to Moodle in a different way. You get a percentage. Okay, let's leave this here. So remember, later we have to talk about this parameter. Let's see, I leave it open because we have already produced our module, and now we go into Moodle and look at the parameters of the module there. And there are some questions we will raise here. I think to edit the module, you can select editing when you are already in the editing mode. As an administrator, which I am here now, you can also enter the module and have the, oh, let me make this bigger, and have the settings here. But either way, you need to go into the settings. And what I like to do is I like to add a picture, what you will expect inside of the module to the beginning. It's possible to skip this, but which is better, I think, to have less steps until, but if it comes to looking at this page, then you have already something which is better than only text. Okay. And here is the file. We have uploaded it on the course page, but you can also upload here. So if you let me delete this here. Okay, so now we have no package. We can exchange it. I still have that's the module I want to put there, and I can upload it. Okay, and now the Scorm module is here. There's one mistake that people start to unzip this zip file. Don't do that. You need it as a zip file inside. Okay, and the other parameter here, the frequency for auto update, if I upload it manually, this should be never, because there's no chance that there is an auto update. Then we have lots of other parameters, and the webinar will not be enough time to answer all the questions here, but I prepared a slide for you inside the course, and when you log in, you can get all the parameters. For the appearance, there are some important things, and first you should always click on show more, because this is really a grown parameter list. So in the early days, it was much shorter, and more parameters were added, and some are a little bit contradictory. Here's, for example, sometimes you need to say yes and then always, or no and mean yes. So it's a little bit complex. What you do here is, the first is how to display the package. You can display it inside of the window or as a new window, and you will get a pop-up. Um, I think some years ago the pop-up was a better, but there's a better selection. But I recommend to use the current window. Screens are getting bigger. There's enough space on the screen to embed the module, and you can change this here. So I say use the current window. So all these definitions for width and height are useless because the current window is controlled by the theme, and the theme can have some additional CSS to make it more beautiful. Then you want to skip the structure page. You want to skip it always, and you want to disable the preview view. So here you need a yes. You want to displace this course structure on entry page, and I say for the easiest version, no, you don't need it. Display the course structure inside of the player? No, because iSpring doesn't produce any course structure. This is the old thinking of Scorm, where you have produced layer of layer and big trees of Scorm modules, one into the other. Now this all is done by your LMS, and Moodle is much better in structuring the course outside of Scorm. So do small Scorm modules and disable all these structures here. You don't show any Moodle navigation if you have disabled this. So this is also useless and not useless. Sorry, it's not useful to think about it. And display the attempt status. And this is something we could do, but I recommend not to do it. You control this together with the course structure on entry page, and I think we can switch it off for now. Okay, and these parameters are described in the picture I uploaded in the course. And if you log into the course, you get all the settings here. So this picture, it's a picture now, it's not the real settings. You can just look at it and copy them. I wrote an article also in the Moodle database in the forum with the same picture. So here you find the picture again. Okay. What else do we have here? The availability, it's just dates. Okay, we don't use it now. It's possible to restrict it. The grade, highest grade, and here you can choose the maximum grade. And remember, I have set it to 6,000 points, but the only point you can get here is 100 and not more. So the best grade is 100. Okay, now the attempt management. It means how often can a user try to do the Scorm. And I recommend these unlimited attempts for training. Maybe for some tests you need different values. The highest one should then count. And for new attempt, yes, every single should be a new attempt, which is much better. And lock it after the final attempt. We have no final because we have unlimited, so you don't need to choose here. Okay. Let's now look at the compatibility settings. And I recommend to force completed to yes and auto continue to no. Auto commit to yes and mastery score to yes. It's a little bit takes too long in this webinar to explain each, but you can ask in the forum of the course if you need help here. And in my course, you will also find an Ask question and get answers forum. And if you click there, add a new discussion topic and ask the question later on. And we can continue this webinar in the forum a little bit. Okay, now, so common module settings. This is Moodle, typical Moodle, show or not show, groups or not groups. And the restrict access as well, and activity completion. This is a little bit special for Scorm because here you say, what do you want from Scorm to make a completion? And here this is passed and completed. You remember, I switch back to PowerPoint and we look again at, no, where's it, PowerPoint? Yes, we have here the completed, incomplete, or passed, failed. And if you want your Moodle object also listen to this, you can say require a status passed or require a status complete. And it doesn't hurt if you switch on both, because now you are free inside of your iSpring module, which is selected there. So in my English, yeah. So I think that's the safe selection. Both can count to activity complete. And you don't need to switch this on with iSpring, but maybe with other modules, it's helpful to use this parameter as well. Okay, so now I save and display my module again. And this is what I see as an administrator. So here's a picture I added. Then I moved the enter button into the picture a little bit with CSS. So I think this is nicer. Usually it is below the picture, but this is also explained in the course. So I added some CSS explanation to move the button. You can use this CSS for your theme. If you are an administrator of the Moodle site, you have the power to add some custom CSS. And this one would help you to make this bigger. Yeah, this one would help you to move the button, and you can also change these both value to put it where you want it, to have it on your picture. Okay, I go back to the course, and that's a normal module here. I have added another trick I use sometimes. Let me close this here so I can go back to the PowerPoint thing. First I show you inside of the Moodle course from the learner's perspective. So you sometimes have the situation that you add some content and then you want to have feedback from your users. Usually it's a few questions, and when you go to the feedback, then you get these questions here, and it works very well in Moodle. But what doesn't work is, sorry, yeah, I leave. What doesn't work when you first have worked inside of such a module, then the users don't want to start another one because they don't really know what will be inside. So I found a solution. I put this feedback inside of this slide here. So look, this slide has an empty window, which was created with web object from iSpring. So what I did, I added the web object, and then I put my login screen here. So I log in the preview, I log into my Moodle site. Now it becomes a little bit more esoteric here. And I can go to this feedback. The correct link you can get from your Moodle site. I prepared the feedback here. So that's the feedback. We don't use this one. This is the special one. And we need this answer the question link. So I copy this link. I go back to my Moodle and add this now. After I was logged in, I can add this, and it will link to the same page, but it will work later on. And I say, okay. And now this web object is inserted into the PowerPoint slide. What will happen inside of Moodle? And inside of Moodle, let me go back here. So when I start this iSpring Scorm module, so it starts like it always starts. Next slide, next slide. But let me use the outline to go to this feedback. So fairies want feedback. It's your turn. Okay, so now I have here the feedback button as the feedback module inside of my PowerPoint slide. So no need for the learner to leave the Scorm module, and he can say, yeah, I liked it very much. Go to the next page. Oh, here's some suggest. I think I didn't write the correct English here. Yeah, add more coffee. Add more coffee. Okay, and I submit the answer. And now it says, please use next to visit the next slide. Okay, I go to the next slide, and it's already the end. And yeah, that's it. Okay, so we go exit the activity and back to our Moodle course. What will the administrator see? He has a good chance to look at the feedback. This is the insider feedback, and he gets the analysis for this and sees a nice diagram. So all these feedbacks are collected already on the Moodle page. And if you want to edit a question in the feedback, it's very easy here. And it's not necessary to edit the feedback inside of the Scorm module. The Scorm module can be prepared for having a feedback inside of Moodle. And yeah, why not use this mechanism for other mixtures of Moodle and iSpring because of the web object? I think I like it very much to experiment with it. So here are lots of responses already. Yeah, and how can we prepare the Moodle page that we can use such a feedback? It needs some more work because we need to change the CSS for the feedback. And here is the CSS I added into my theme. I said this, each feedback or each activity has its own tag. You can find out this. I can easily show you this in a minute. And then it takes some investigation to find out all the elements you want to reduce from the page. And for example, if you want to reduce the header, you need to use the, I use the English one, sorry. Yeah, if you want to remove the header from your theme for this quiz, you need to inspect this, and then you will find all these tags here. But I have collected the tags you need to change already, so they are described here. The only thing you need to find is one thing, and that's the course number. Maybe you want to reduce it to the course number and the object number. Maybe this sounds too heavy for starters in Moodle and starters in iSpring, but people who work for years with iSpring and Moodle, I think they know what I'm talking about and how to modify the CSS. So maybe that's a valuable idea for this. If I go with my mouse on the feedback module here below, you see some hint which ID this one has. It has the ID 63, and exactly this is the number here, the CM ID 63 is what you need here to limit the change of removing header and blocks and headlines and footer. Limit this to only this feedback module, because maybe there are some 100 other trainers on this Moodle platform and you don't want to remove their feedback header and footer only for your course. So you need to be the administrator or work together with the administrator to prepare such a module for your course. Okay, in the end, many people have used the modules here, and as an administrator or as a teacher, you want to know what are the values, what are the points my students got, how successful are they in the course. And when you use this module as a trainer or as a teacher, you get the report function. And in the report function, you see all your users. Oh, and Kent has already registered for the course. Thank you, Kent, from Denmark. And he has attempted once, but he didn't get a score. Maybe he stopped using the module and continued to listen. But you can dig deeper. You can, no, I don't use Kent data. I click here, and you can track all the details and see if someone has completed questions. But this looks not very reliable here. So there are better options. So I go back to the report here, and I installed the question trends plugin. And with this, it's from the standard Moodle database. You get for each question in the module, you get the numbers, and you can see if question 0 and question 1 is used by people and what are the values. So it needs a little bit time to get used to what you see here, but I think it's worth to investigate the question module and see the question trends. There's also the objectives report. It's always included, and you can see who has completed and who has not completed this module. There's also an interaction report where you see which questions they responded to, and you can also dig deeper into the single interactions. There's also a graphical report. I think that's easier to understand how many people have really got how many points there. And because the course is not finally designed and we have not really much users, we have not enough data here. Okay, but the basic report, what's the score? I think this is what you look most at. You look at this most of the times. Okay, I went through what I wanted to show, and I think the summary is that Moodle is complex when it comes to Scorm because you need to implement the modules. Oh, I forgot something. To make the modules show up more beautiful, I not only moved the buttons. There's another thing. You can shape the Scorm iframe. Maybe you have seen that you need to scroll a lot to see the module correctly, and it can be better. And I added this CSS code here to put the Scorm module in the correct shape. This will help you, and it works with the most themes because the Scorm is not so popular to modify it in themes. And this will still work in Boost, for example. For not Moodlers, Moodle has a lot of themes and people can select from themes and change themes. Yeah, it's always a discussion that Moodle is so difficult to use, but yeah, I found ways to make it easy to use. And for example, the progress bar is something I like very much. You can click here and go directly to the module, for example. Go back. Okay, I'm through with the course. Kent has already signed up. use what's in the course and use also questions and answers, but we have some time left to ask questions now here.
Yeah, we already have lots of questions. And I would like to ask, while you're still on this page, the one question from Lori. I'm new to this. Does Moodle not host the e-learning modules? Is that why Guido is also using LearnLink? I'm a bit confused.
LearnLink is my company, and I am hosting Moodle for a lot of my clients. But I am not allowed to advertise this because only Moodle partners can use the Moodle trademark.
Mm-hmm.
So my
And
trademark is LearnLink LMS.
yes, and is this the course that you offer?
This is a one Moodle room which I offer, yes, and I also offer the LMS, but I also offer the iSpring LMS, which is also very useful.
Mm-hmm. And here's a question from Bryson. iSpring Suite and Moodle parameters are often duplicated, for example, unlimited attempts. How does Guido decide when to use the iSpring parameter settings and when to use the equivalent Moodle parameter?
Yeah, I try to make the Moodle the steering wheel for what happens and leave iSpring in a basic situation. For example, when you have unlimited attempts inside of a quiz and somebody is not able to find the correct answer, he will never be able to leave. So I do the following. I create a quiz, and in the quiz in iSpring, where's my iSpring? Yeah, when I create a quiz, I put the quiz to just a single attempt, and when someone wants to do it again, I in the presentation explorer, I add the parameter for quiz properties. It's a little bit hidden to say restart failed quizzes when revisiting, so someone can go by the navigation next or back to the quiz and do it again, for example. So I have few attempts inside of iSpring and give the control to the teacher in Moodle.
Mm-hmm. And another question from Peter: Is there a Is there a difference in resolution between mobile and desktop?
A difference in resolution. Yeah, the where to start? Difficult question. It's a longer chain of resolutions or sizes because at first when you work with PowerPoint slides, they are not really responsive. They are just scaled when you use them. And you start with the size of PowerPoint. Sorry, I didn't switch my PowerPoint to English. But there is it's on the same place where you change the slide size, and if you add bigger numbers here, you get bigger resolution in your slides, and maybe this is the starting point to think about what will be on my mobile device. Yeah. Then when it comes to the Moodle course, you decide the size by CSS. How big your module will be displayed here. This is only the picture, but this size, as an administrator, I get here some more functions. So sorry, this is a wrong image. It's this one. When I start the module here, I try to use as much space as possible, but I still keep it embedded. Yeah, and the size is controlled here, but the resolution is not different. The resolution depends on what you have started in PowerPoint with. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you
When it
very
comes to
much.
the if you use the Moodle app, then your theme isn't used anymore. The Moodle app has its own theme, and it will display your SCORM package full screen, and
Mm-hmm.
you can't do anything against it. And the iSpring mobile player will help you, and the quizzes are much more responsive than the PowerPoint slides. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's maybe better to have a quiz export and publish the quiz on its own and put some info slides inside and not use PowerPoint.
Mm-hmm.
Only iSpring Quiz
Thank
maybe.
you. Thank you. And I think maybe you covered this question during the webinar, but just to check, question from Mike. If we upload a quiz built in iSpring, will Moodle show the question results or just that you passed or failed?
You can investigate more than just the results, but it's not so easy to understand because SCORM here, this is what I'm talking about. SCORM will you get all information, but it's not really human readable sometimes. So when you look here and track the details, look, these are my answers. And it's everything inside if I answered correctly or not, and also for the second question, but it doesn't look very well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I installed another plugin, the question trends and it shows the questions in a little bit more human readable. But SCORM doesn't deliver anything from the no, because of SCORM, the question names are in some way cryptic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great. And before we end the webinar, we still have a lot of questions to go over. So, Guido, is there any way people can get in touch with you?
Yes, of course. Register at Simple LAN link here, and then you can ask questions in the course. I think that's the best thing to do.
So it will be simple.learn.link, right?
Yes. Right.
Okay, let me just share it
Simple.learn.link
in chat really
in
quickly.
the chat room as well. Yes, good idea.
And learn is spelled in is it
It,
a
it's
German
spelled
way?
German way. It's only
Yeah.
4 letters. Yes.
Okay.
Maybe someday you can correct the intro slide because there's still the English version.
All right. Okay. And since we still have 6 minutes, let's cover some
And we
other.
and what I'm overwhelmed with, we have still 77 listeners, and we started with 80. Uh,
Yeah, this is really
Maybe
cool.
they have all run away and left the computer alone, or they are still listening, and I'm very happy about that.
And Guido, can you please say, or I mean, tell, which version of Moodle and theme are you running?
Um, in the theme I'm using, it's a special theme. It's called Lambda from Theme Forest. Uh, you need to buy it, but it's worth. And the Moodle version is 3.33, I think. But let's look at it. Where dashboard, which version? Site administration notification here. Yeah. Okay. So that's Moodle. Oh, 3.26. Yeah. There is already a version 3.4 and 3.3. But I think 3.26 is still supported with things. But I use many versions of Moodle because there's so many customers. They all have different Moodles installed, and sometimes they upgrade by themselves. Sometimes It's my job to do it, and I have no platform 3.4 in the moment because it came out last week and it's very fresh, and I wait a little bit until we have better updates here.
Great.
Yeah, I can recommend the other themes as well. Essential is a good theme to modification. Adaptable needs a long time to learn what you can adapt, but then it's perfect. Or if you want a shorter path to a wonderful theme, Fortzone is also very nice.
Thank you. And a question from Francesco. So if the questions are randomly submitted, that plugin is useless, isn't it?
Right.
Thank you. Okay, and the big one from Augusta. I published many quizzes on Moodle and sometimes for no apparent reason, although I received a notification email with detailed answers. The very same quiz score does not show on Moodle Gradebook. The score on Moodle is the previous quiz's result. So, is this a bug that can be fixed? Do you know anything about it, Guido?
Um, hmm. We should stay in contact and investigate further.
Yeah.
I,
So
I yeah.
he also says if I hadn't received the detailed email, I wouldn't have been able to believe my students who swears he got 100%, for example.
Yes. What I recommend is to make the SCORM modules as short as possible to have less situations like this, because older Moodle versions tend to eat SCORM results. Newer ones have a fantastic feature to even save SCORM results if the SCORM module doesn't send anything. So the SCORM module can say, now it's time to save my results. And Moodle stores the result even if the SCORM module doesn't send this message. So it's getting better and better, and older rumors that Moodle and SCORM doesn't work well, they are not true anymore. And yeah, but you can't convince someone who has failed 3 or 4 years ago with SCORM. And yeah, I think you should try it, and it's getting better because also the servers get faster and the communication gets more reliable on each level of the whole system.
Great. And we still have lots of questions. I don't even know which one
Yeah,
to ask. And I
I
know
have
that
another 8 minutes, but then I need to leave because we have tickets for a concert.
right. Yeah, so guys, if we didn't answer your question, please send it to Guido. Submit it where using the link that we sent in chat. And please also let us know if this webinar was useful to you. And still we have some more minutes. Let's try and cover more questions. So question from Jonathan, how to help admin to see each question and answer of post tests that have been answered by student?
That's again the same in the report. Here you can investigate who has fulfilled everything, and then you go dig deeper into the attempt of each student and get the details.
And also Jonathan says, I just accessed the link, but I cannot access any course.
You cannot access the course? No, but Kent did, so it's there. But maybe it's difficult to find. Let's do it again here. So when you log out and you have registered, then you get an email and you need to answer this email. And then you can log in with your credentials you selected. And when you log in, these are already my courses, but maybe you have no course in the beginning. That's true. So where to go then? You go back to if you maybe you need to use search and say iSpring. And then you go to, yes, that's a good idea. I'm sorry. So search for iSpring here. Then you get this course, and then you can enter the course. Kent, how did you do it? You did it already.
And also, Jenny says, when I go to a simple learn link, it's not in English. Could you please help? How can she get the English version of it?
It's not in English. It depends on your browser. What the language of your browser should change the language. But if you write lang equal en, maybe this helps. Is that true? I'm not sure. No, that's not true. No, it's question mark lang. Does this help? Yes, maybe this helps. If you write question mark lang equal de. Yes, okay. So question mark.
Yeah, you know what, guys?
Yeah.
With the so I will be sharing the recording of this webinar, and also I will then share the English version of both versions, I guess, of the Learn link with you. And I hope that
Right.
helps. And also, Guido, there was one question about the course you were demonstrating. Somebody asked, can you make it available for further, I don't know, practice?
So this course
The
is
presentation.
the presentation is in the course. Here's the export of the PowerPoint and the iSpring all together. If you download this zip file here, the simple and LMS2, this will contain the PowerPoint slides and the iSpring. Yeah, is this a question? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I cannot give the whole course as a Moodle course. Is that the question? If you want this, please ask in the forum. Do we have already questions in the forum? No.
And Guido, do you know if Moodle can run an offline desktop?
There is a desktop plugin
Mm-hmm.
for Windows, and this should work. I haven't tried, but I was thinking about. So you have the Android, the Apple, and the Windows app, and if you download the app to the desktop, it should also work. And this can also work offline. So all these apps can download the Scorm modules, and you can work the Scorm modules offline. And when you get connected again, the result will be sent to Moodle. So you can work on iSpring modules offline with the Moodle app.
Mm-hmm.
There is an official Moodle app in all these shops, in the app stores, in Google Play and so on.
Mm-hmm. And there was one question. Why would you recommend using Moodle, Guido?
Yeah, it's a free open source tool which is used so often and so many times. There are so many people programming, and it's a fantastic community also. So when you have questions to Moodle, join the Moodle.org community, for example, and ask your questions there. And I'm working with it since 2004, and and it's every day it's getting better and better and more functions and more plugins and so on. So go to here Moodle.org, I should say. Moodle.org. But it needs a lot of learning.
Mm-hmm.
When you just want to start an LMS and use it the next day and everything should be fine, then ask iSpring for iSpring LMS, because everything is done already there and everything is prepared, and it works so seamless with iSpring
Mm-hmm.
Suite, and Moodle doesn't. You need some knowledge to prepare it, and the themes are not well prepared for Scorm. You need to change a little bit here and there. Moodle is free. The software doesn't cost anything, but you need a lot of time, or you need a good um, um, helper, a good consultant to make Moodle really work for your company.
Right. So as every single tool, it has its pros and cons for every single user of it, I think.
Yes. Moodle has millions of pros, but to find them, it's difficult.
Okay, got it. And let's cover the very last question for today, since I know you have to go. Jenny said, can you talk about activity completion? We use iSpring Presenter with multiple quizzes in one Scorm. We struggle with activity completion and grades being truly accurate.
Yeah, that's not easy. And think about splitting your multiple quizzes into single SCORM modules. And what I found out really late was if you have a quiz and you go to QuizMaker, let me show this function. Maybe Jenny is still there. Where's the QuizMaker? On the other side here. And you go to this orange field here. It's a little bit hidden. I don't know why, but it has no text. It just has a symbol. And here you find also publish. And when you publish here, you can also publish for LMS, and you can also choose your SCORM and so on. And you only have the quiz, and this reduces the amount of failure possibilities, I think. So maybe this is a good idea to think about splitting into different parts. And the Moodle should be minimum 3.3, I recommend, because there's lots of things in SCORM has been made better since 3.3. Yeah, maybe that's the way to get the newest Moodle. And yeah, and maybe we can change something together if we find lots of problems, and we start again an initiative to put it into the bug tracker of Moodle. But it needs to be sorted out a little bit because there are so many different levels of problems with SCORM, so it's not so easy. But it in 99% it works, but there are always cases where it doesn't work.
1%. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, Jenny says, would love that because I provide many topics/questions in one presentation. So, all right. So I think at this time we need to wrap up because you gotta watch the concert, and we'll see you guys in December. And our next webinar will be on December 12th. It will cover our regular topic, how to quickly launch online training with iSpring, and we will during the webinar, our specialist will he will actually show how to create a course from scratch using different possibilities of iSpring. So if you would like to sign up for our invitations to visit the webinars, please go to ispringsolutions.com/webinars, and you will find all the information there. And also there you will find the recording for this webinar. However, I will be sending a message to every one of you with the recording and also with a link to Guido's portal. So, Guido, thank you very much. I didn't read any of the comments, but there were many of them saying that this was a very nice and detailed presentation. So, thank you very much for doing it for our attendees today.
Yeah, please give me the list of questions, because maybe to prepare for the next webinar, this would be a good source to concentrate on what people really want to know.
Sure, I will definitely do that. And okay, I hope that everyone has a wonderful day, and we'll see you at our next webinar. Bye bye, everyone. Bye, Guido.
Bye bye. Bye, Paulina.